Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Michaela. Sunny obviously wants to be a part of this video, so here is his hello and goodbye. So as you can tell by the title, we are wrapping up all of the books that I have read this year, and I didn't hit my goal. My goal was 55 and I got 54, I think. Almost made it, but not quite. I went back and forth between reading physical books and reading on my Kindle, so I'm going to give you all my physical books first, and then we'll go back and I'll tell you all of the books that I read on my Kindle. But I have my iPad out on my Goodreads so I can keep track of everything. So here are the books that I read in 2023. So we moved into our house, and then I had gotten this series for my birthday in October, the Red Queen series. I think I rated this a 3 or a 4. I really liked the first two, but then the second two I drifted away a little bit. If you don't know what the series is about, it's basically about these peoples. They are called the Silvers and the Reds. So the Silvers have these powers and the Reds don't. So the Silvers are royalty, the Reds are the working class. So this girl, she finds out that she has power, so she has to go to the castle and train and pretend that she's a Silver. So that's the gist of the first book. The next book I read is November 9th by Colleen Hoover, and I think I rated this a 3 stars, and I think mainly it's because of the miscommunication trope. I did not like that. I was really excited the first half of the book, and then the miscommunication happened and I drifted away from that. Other than that, I really liked it. If you don't know what it's about, it's basically these two people meet on this date. She's in a cafe with her dad, and she doesn't have the best relationship with her dad, so he comes over and acts like he's her boyfriend. And then they continue to meet up every day or every year on November 9th. The next book I read was It Starts With Us. I was really excited about this one because I really liked It Ends With Us and I really liked Atlas. But I did not like it as much as I thought, because I thought it was going to be more about them, but I didn't really get that until the very end. It's more like her character progression, I guess. So I rated this a 3 stars. The next book I read was Twisted Love, and there's more books in this series, but I haven't gotten to yet because the first time I read this, I didn't love it. I think if I reread it, I might think differently. So I don't know if I'll continue the series. Honestly, don't really know what the plot was. Basically, this guy has to protect his best friend's sister, and then they fall in love. That's it. These are the other books in the series. As far as I know, the other books in the series are about different couples, so maybe I would like them better, but I rated this a 2 stars. Then the next books I read started my Sarah J. Maas journey, and I read the entirety of the Throne of Glass series, and I wish I would have started with Assassin's Blade, but I did not. I started with Throne of Glass. This book follows Selena, and the storyline basically is she's in this prison camp, and the prince comes to her and takes her back to the kingdom, or the castle, because she is known as the best assassin, and his father, the king, is holding a competition to see who could bring him the best assassin. So that's the gist of it. She has to go on these trials and figure stuff out, and I don't really want to give away anything, but it's really good. I thought the book was gonna be more, or I thought the whole series was gonna be more like this, but it's a whole world to get into. So I started with Throne of Glass. I went to Crown of Midnight, Heir of Fire, then Assassin's Blade. I do not recommend this reading order because after Heir of Fire, you immediately want to get into Queen of Shadows. And reading this right after Heir of Fire almost put me in a slump, because yes, I cared about Selena and I wanted to know her character development and what happened before Throne of Glass. This takes place 2 years before Throne of Glass. So I figured out that I like timeline order. I would recommend reading this first or after Crown of Midnights. So after Assassin's Blade, I read Queen of Shadows, probably one of my favorite books in the series, Empire of Storms, Tower of Dawn, and I tandem read these. And then Kingdom of Ash, 980 pages. That's crazy. Probably the longest book I've ever read. So good. I annotated so much in this. And please, can we make more books in 2024 as floppy as this? Yes, the content, the reading experience, I loved it, and I can't wait for more people to read this and I get to talk to them about it. The next book I read was Fourth Wing, and oh my goodness, this took everybody in a whirlwind. I have the version with the sprayed edges. Love it. I rated this a 5-star. If you don't know what it's about, it's basically a dragon school, and there's different quadrants in this school. Here is the map. This follows Violet Sorrengail, and her mom wants her to be a writer, but she wants to be a scribe, but her mom forces her to be a writer. So this just follows her journey of trying to be initiated into it. I really liked it. I love dragons. I need more dragon books. The next book I read is Scythe. Probably seems dark, but it wasn't. I was really surprised by it. I didn't think that I would love it as much as I did. I mean, I hoped that I would, but I was a little hesitant. Basically, it follows Citra and Rowan are chosen to apprentice to a scythe, a role that neither wants. So basically, these two take on apprenticeships with the scythe, and at the end, he has to choose one. So basically, they're competing against each other to try to become a scythe, and it basically just follows their journey, following him around, what he has to do, him putting them through challenges, teaching them all the different things, and then stuff happens. This was really good, and I really want to read the rest of the series. The next book I read was Love and Gelato. I mainly got this cover because 1, it's so cute, and then 2, it has ice cream. My mom really likes ice cream, so I told her that I got this book and read it. This book takes place in Italy, and it follows, what's her name, Lena, on her journey to figure out a bunch of different things about her life. Her mom had passed away, and she sent her to this guy in Italy to live with him, and she didn't know why. And so she's trying to figure out all these different things and trying to figure out herself, and then she meets these people and these group of teens and crushes, and it was really cute. I liked it, and I watched the Netflix show. Oh my goodness, I have to take the sticker off too. Can we stop putting stickers on books in 2024? But anyways, I rated this a 3 stars. The next book I read was finishing up the Sarah J Maas books that were currently out, House of Earth and Blood, and this is not my type of fantasy, or so I thought. This is very modern. They have phones, electricity, the internet, and I just was not used to it, so I kind of really struggled through this much of it, and then this was easier. But it was pretty good, and I rated this a 3 star, mainly just because I wasn't used to all the modern things in it, and I was used to her other writing style, which was way back when type of thing. The next book I read was Things We Left Behind. This was one of the couples that I was really looking forward to reading about, and yes, I liked their story, but I didn't like how the first 2 books mystery was carrying through it. Like, I just wanted to be over the crime and just hear about them. I like the first 2 books, and so I was really excited to hear about these guys, because you hear in the first 2 books about how there has been something that has happened between the 2 of them, and so I really liked seeing their backstory, and I can't wait to get the other 2 books so I can have them all pretty on my shelf. I rated this a 4 star because there wasn't so much crime in it, but I really liked seeing them too. The next books I read were the Summer I Turned Pretty series. I watched the show right after too, so I could see like what they're incorporating into it and like how they pulled it all together, so that was cool to see. I did like how they did it, but at the same time I'm like, I wish they would have kept it the same as the book. If you don't know what these books are about, it's about this girl named Belly. She goes to a summer house with Conrad, Jeremiah, and their mom, and Belly's mom and her brother also go. So it's basically she has a crush on Conrad, and just goes throughout the years, them growing up, them getting older, them going through life experiences, and I rated it a 3 stars. The next book I read, Divine Rivals. Oh my goodness, I rated this a 5 stars, and I'm reading Ruthless Vows now. I loved this book so much more than I thought. I still think about this book. The world might seem weird because they're in a war between 2 of the gods, but you don't really see the war very much. You don't really see very much of the gods aspect. You get the romance and how they're getting to know each other and writing back and forth to each other, and it's really cute. I really liked it. So excited to finish Ruthless Vows. And then Iron Flame came out. This is a big book. It's bigger than Fourth Wing too. And I got the black sprayed edges, but mine's ruined. Didn't love the ending just because of what happens, but I liked the whole thing. Rated this at 5 stars as well, or 4.5, 5 stars. And then I got into the Shadow and Bone series. This was a really cool series to get into. I didn't expect it to be like this. This world is torn into by this thing called the Rift, and it's like, I'll show you. So here's a map, and this is like the world that they're in, or the place that they're in, and this is the Rift. So it's complete darkness, and there's monsters in it. I forget what they're called. Volgra, I think. This book follows Alina and her best friend, Mal. They grew up in an orphanage together, and now they're at the war front. She's a map maker, and they find out that she is a sun summoner. She gets taken by the Darkling, and he's like, I don't know what he is to the king, but basically he's like controlling the king, or like, I don't really know. Basically, he has her brought to the castle to train, and so that she can use her power, and then he wants her to have an amplifier, so he takes her and wants, basically trying to find these amplifier, or this amplifier for her. And then Siege of Storms. And then I'm reading this one on my Kindle. I really liked these a lot. And then finally, my most recent book, House of Sky and Breath. The struggle it was to read this much of it just to get to the end. Worth it, but seriously, like, I don't understand how so much of nothing can be happening in this much of a book. I don't get it. But the ending, the last line, go read this if you have not. I cannot wait for the new book to be released. Anyways, onto the books that I read on my Kindle. So I started the year with Delirium series, and this series is about a world that doesn't allow love. So people are killed for loving. Love has been declared a dangerous disease, and the government forces everyone who reaches 18 to have a procedure called the cure. So Lena Holloway, she has 95 days until her treatment, and then she meets Alex, a boy from the wilds who lives under the government's radar. What will happen if they do the unthinkable and fall in love? That series was really good. There's 3 books in this series. So Delirium, Pandemonium, and then Requiem. I gave those books 3 stars. And then I went on to Things We Never Got Over and Things We Hide from the Light. They kind of made me laugh at sometimes because I forgot that they're like in their 50s, 40s, 50s, and they're acting like children sometimes. That was funny. But anyways, I rated those also 3 stars. And then I read the Giver series because I had watched The Giver and then always wanted to read The Quartet. So I finally got around to doing that. I didn't love it as much as I thought I would, but I still really loved the first book. It's just all tied together somehow. So it's kind of hard to follow until you get all the details into why are we in this world? Why are we talking about these people? The Giver series is about this world that can't see color, and then the boy has to go to the Giver, and he is the receiver, and so the Giver gives him memories, and then he starts seeing color, and then things happen from there. He's like, why do I feel this certain way? Why am I seeing this? And why does it look like that? All the different types of things. And then the worst book that I read this year was All the Ugly and Wonderful Things. Age Gap, I hated it. Why I did not look at reviews first? Don't ask me. I should have. I didn't. Regretted it. Something about me can't DNF a book. Should have. So me rating it a 1 star would be a lie because my 1 star means DNF, and I should have done that. But I wanted justice and I did not get that. I kept saying, I want justice. Basically, this guy on a motorcycle is driving down the road and the girl's in a field. She's like 7 or 8 and he's like 30s. She hears a crash, she goes to see him, goes to help him, brings him back to her house. That's how they meet, and it goes from there. She has like a horrible mom, addicted to all the wrong things, and so her mom isn't really a mother, and so the girl thinks her job is to cook, clean, and for a man. She's 13 and thinking all of these things. So 2 star it is, but should be not even on my shelf. And then I read The Housemaid and the Housemaid's Secret. If you haven't read these were so good. This blew my mind. Basically, this girl is living in her car and she needs a job. So she goes to, I don't remember how she gets this job. I think she sees an ad in the newspaper or something, and she goes to this house and she talks to the wife, and she gets hired to come to their house, to live in their house. And you know where she's living? In the attic, in a room that has a painted shut window and a door that has the lock on the outside only. That's sketch. Like, absolutely not. I would not have said yes. There's some wild, crazy stuff that happens in there. The first one I liked more than the second one because it's kind of like repeating itself, kind of. Because you already know who the girl is and like what she's done already. So you could kind of guess at the second one. So I rated those 4 stars, and then I read 1,000 Boy Kisses, and oh my goodness, I stayed up reading until 2 a.m. to finish this, and Scott is asleep beside me, and I'm bawling my eyes out. This book was so cute. They're neighbors, guy and the girl, and so their windows, like, they can see each other. It's so cute. They use like the cups, you know, that have the string, and they would like talk and listen. It was so cute. And then they grow up, they have this falling out, and it's just so cute. I love this book. I also rated it 5 stars. And then in between Queen of Shadows and Empire of Storms, I read Never Lie by Frida McFadden. If you have not read any of her books, you need to go read some of her books right now because they are so good. I love her writing. This blew my mind. This couple went to an estate that once belonged to Dr. Adrian Hale, a renowned psychiatrist who vanished without a trace 4 years earlier. And then they get trapped at the house by a storm. So they're snowed in, they can't leave. She finds a room, she listens to the tapes, she hears all of these sessions with the patients, and it just gets wild from there. 4 stars. And then between Tower of Dawn and Kingdom of Ash, I read Verity by Colleen Hoover, and oh my goodness, I still don't know what to think about it, about the ending. I still don't know. My sister's reading, and I can't wait till she finishes it. I still don't know what to believe. And I rated that 4 stars. And then I read The Serpent and the Wings of Night series, which everybody raves about, and I didn't love. Yes, it's Hunger Games vibes, less vampires, but after that, I didn't really get it. I didn't read the little novella in between. Maybe I should have. I didn't love them. I gave them both a 3 stars. If you don't know what it's about, it's basically this human girl is raised by the Vampire King. She wants to compete in Kajari, which is basically the Hunger Games part of it. So she has to fight to the death to win this. If you win, you get granted a wish by this goddess. So it could be anything. It just follows her journey in the castle, which the castle is weird. It like changes and everything, and like them being vampires, they can only come out at night. So there's some nights where they can't go out at night, they have to stay in. And some nights there's not food, so they're forced to go out and actually look for stuff. There's a greenhouse there, and then they also can go elsewhere out in the town. So anyways, it just follows her in that journey. And then I read Ward D, which I'm still like, how did I not see that coming? It's about this girl that has a internship at this hospital, Ward D. Basically has to stay the whole night with these group of crazies, and you find out some interesting stuff. She has to meet all the patients, and there's one patient that's in a locked room, not allowed in there, and stuff gets really weird. Oh, there's also no signal in there except for like one bar, barely, in the break room, way up high next to the window sometimes. That's how creepy it is. If you need help, you can't even call. And then I read If He Had Been With Me. This is another childhood friends story. I was really sad by the ending. Their moms are best friends, and they get to high school, and then they're not best friends anymore. They hardly talk. They just see each other when their moms want to go to each other's houses. It's really sad. The second one is coming out soon. I think it's from his perspective. And then I started the Shatter Me series. So I read Shatter Me again and Destroy Me 1.5, the little novella. I don't know how I feel about it yet. Basically, this girl has a power where if she touches somebody, it hurts them and potentially could get to the point of killing them. And as a little girl, she was trying to help the little boy because he had fallen, and she was trying to help him, but he ended up dying because she had touched him, and so she was sent to prison. So it's basically about her trying to escape them. So I continued it, and I read Unravel Me next, and then Rock, Paper, Scissors. It's about this couple that goes to a chapel, and they're snowed in, and it's really weird how she gets this reservation because she sent an email saying, oh, you want a trip to go and stay at this Airbnb, and the Airbnb is really creepy, and there's pictures on the wall, and then there's noises going on, and then there's magically food and water and weird stuff going on, and the husband knows where stuff is, like he's been there before. It's just really weird how everything happens in that book. And then there's a cabin nearby, and they think they see somebody in there. It's really weird. I rated that a 4 stars. And then I read Haunting and Hunting Adeline, which those are darker books. I rated those a 3 star, mainly just because of that. I think it's my cup of tea, but if it's yours, go ahead. This guy basically is a stalker, and yeah, basically about that. And then I started my Harry Potter. So I started reading that. I got the first and second done, third one done, and the fourth one done. If you haven't heard what the Harry Potter series is about, I don't know what to tell you. I've really liked them so far. I think I've rated everyone 4 stars, and I really need a way to watch them when I'm done. I think I'm on the 5th one now. But after I finished all of the Harry Potter series, I was reading the Shadow and Bone series on my Kindle as well. So those are all of the books that I read in 2023. I can't believe I read that many, and I hope to read a lot more next year. So many books that I'm anticipating to read so badly. Like this, Caraval, and this. Can't wait. I'm so excited for all of the series that I have lined up, and I'm so happy that you guys watched today's video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments, what books you read, how many you read, what your goal was, did you meet it, and happy new year, happy 2024. I'll see you guys in my next video.